Today I'm doing a quick video on our VW T25 or Vanagon interior. Now if you're here to see super amazing interiors that cost a fortune, then you're in the wrong place, because that's not the way I do things. We have literally done this on a ultra budget, spend as little as possible to get it to a nice standard, a standard that we're happy to be in summertime, and it looks nice. I think it looks nice anyway. So yes, if you're looking at doing it DIY and trying not to spend too much money, it might give you a few good ideas. Let's check it out. So there's a curtain track in this van when we got it, and we've reused it, and the wife made some curtains. Now these are pretty easy to make, or she says. She's never used a sewing machine since she was in school, and she's certainly never made curtains again. These are a metre wide length of cloth that's been doubled up, so it makes it a half length metre curtain, and then she's just literally done the stitching at the top, which I don't know how she's done that. She stitched one of them weird backing things on the top, but she said it was super dead easy to do. I think the cloth cost about 60 odd quid, she said, and that was for about 5 meters, I think it was, from one of the local suppliers. And yeah, she made some curtains and they look absolutely badass. Well, certainly how she wanted them. And then for the ties, she insisted on having ties, and she chopped up one of my weights bands. So this is an exercise band that holds the curtains back. But it looks pretty funky. We've got an orange van, orange and grey, that's the way to go. So yeah, really happy, and pretty limited budget to make them. This one's just tied on the back of the B-pillar, again with a little band. I guess the design of the unit, unfortunately this one had to be tied on the back of the actual unit, but it works. Looking upside down here, but on the back door, we've got the curtain, and it's held back again by one of my weight belts, or it's the same one that chopped up. We actually managed to do the whole van in one belt. So it's just an exercise belt, which is probably not photo stable. It's probably going to rot, and we'll probably get woken up by it twanging off the side of our faces one night. But it looks awesome, works a treat, pretty happy, minimal cost. For the interior walls of the van, we actually ended up felting it. So this is actually a roll end we bought. I think it was about 35 quid for quite a lot of meters, and it's really thin black felt. Now we did consider painting and stuff, we considered different options really, but this was a nice textured feel, give it a more warm feel. It was thin stuff, so it was relatively easy to work with, so you can glue it using spray glue, and it kind of follows the contours of any lines and goes around corners pretty nicely. Finishing it's a little bit tricky because the way the material works. And it did take us a couple of days to do this, a couple of good days, and a couple of cans of spray glue, but I think the final finish for what it cost is pretty amazing. Really happy with it. We continued it along the front all the way to the front of the van, and then around the units. And so that was a little bit fiddly to do, I'll be honest, but it does look pretty good. So if you look inside the van, up at the sides at the back, there's a couple of slots, and that's for your standard interior light, just like you get at the front. Going forwards, there's a couple of big slots above the sliding door. Now these I believe are for air ventilation, so the air feeds through from the front, through the door, through the side doors. So I was looking for some lighting which would fit within that square slot from the heat vent. I was hoping for something from another car, like a proper VW light or something, that would go straight in there, or a LED panel that was the right shape and it'd fit nice and flush. But I couldn't find anything. I literally spent hours looking online for it. When I was on eBay, I saw these. So these kept popping up all the time, to be honest with you. They're easy to find. And they are basically side lights for a modern car, I guess. Now if I'd bought these as side lights, I'd have been pretty annoyed because they are not bright. Certainly not bright enough for side lights in my opinion. Nothing modern at least. But if you put them together and you have the profile there, they do actually fit in the hole really nicely. So I'll show you how I fitted these in, what they look like. So I've put a link in the description below should you want to get some, but they do look pretty awesome and they work a treat. So to fix these in place, I got some of this stuff, which is leftover insulation from my crazy Subaru Beetle project, which I'll link to up there if you're interested. I cut a couple of sausages off, so it looks like that, stuck it on top of each other, and basically when you clamp them together, you squash them together and put them through the hole the back of the light basically forces apart and it stops it from coming out. So I've been driving now for a couple of months and the 3 that are in place haven't fallen out as of yet. I do plan, now I'm happy with the solution, is putting a blob of glue behind them anyway, just to make sure they're in there firm. But as a temporary solution at the very least, or possibly permanent, that's how I've done it. It does seem to work all right. Okay, so we're getting our lights, we're poking them together. These aren't actually wired in yet because I was having trouble with the curtain rail crashing, so I've had to file it back a bit. So once fitted, they look like that, and I think they look pretty awesome, to be honest with you. So not really what I planned, it's not a flat panel, they stick out a little bit, but I'm really happy with them. And at night time, they look like this, which is pretty spot on. So it's certainly bright enough for me to do cooking and anything else you need to do, find things on the floor in the dark. They're not super crazy bright, so they're not glaring and uncomfortable to be around. You don't get dots in your eyes looking at them. They're a nice white light, and they're low power, so I don't have to worry too much about leaving them on all night. So yeah, as a solution, super happy with these ones. So other than the little side lights, which I can leave switched on pretty much indefinitely because they're such low power, I was planning on putting something a bit higher power and a brighter in the ceiling, so in the roof that pops up. I've not actually done that yet, but say I'm looking for some kind of decent panel light for that. The units themselves are all second-hand, pulled out of another van, so they are DIY homemade jobbies, so they ain't the best, but it all works a treat. So I fixed everything properly in place now, so the sink's properly fixed. We've got some storage in the back, which is going to be a water tank eventually, and this gap will be filled up whilst the electrics are complete. But say, it didn't cost anything because it came out of the van. If you're pretty handy DIY wise, just old bits of kitchen unit and MDF, so nothing spectacular. And obviously the fridge. Unfortunately the roof on this was slightly different to the old van, and I had to weld some sections in so the pop top would fit on properly. And unfortunately I managed to set fire to the original kitchen unit. So this one is a new top which came from Wicks in the UK, so it's probably a Home Depot kind of job, and it's just an end piece you get for cupboards and stuff, chopped down, and I think that was about 30-35 quid from the store. Now the hinges are a bit of a bodge, I know, but I didn't really have any options because of the way the units are being built. So they look a little bit ugly, but it's all functional. And under the sink cupboard is just full of all the utility stuff, I guess. So we carry a massive gas bottle because we're tight arses, and basically you get more gas for your money by a long shot if you have one of the big ones. So yeah, we're chugging around a big bottle, but say you get about 3 times more gas for the same amount of money if you do that. And in the corner you can't probably see is just an old car battery, which is enough to light the LED lights and stuff in this van. The water pump is more than enough, and there's a little charger in the back there which keeps it trickle charged when we're hooked up to the mains. And lastly, I guess, is the control panel. So this again came out of the other van, so it's all reused stuff. Didn't cost us a penny. It's pretty handy because I can see the battery voltage. I've got my power supply, so USB. I've got my cigarette plug if I need to use it. And on the top row I've done all my lighting, so it turns the lights on. Now I hate blue LEDs with a vengeance, so that is getting swapped to probably orange if I can find an orange LED. I need to resolder that in. So I'm pretty happy with all the controls from there. And the water pump. The floor was already ply lined, so it's super simple just to get some lino. I think it looks pretty good for what it cost. We looked at getting a roll end, but when you look at the cost of the roll end and what you're going to have excess and maybe not use and all the rest of it, it was easy just to buy some new offer, a new roll basically. So the length we needed worked out to about 35 quid. Job's a good one, and so it's dead easy to cut. You just push it into the corners with a spirit level or a ruler or something, and you just stand the knife, and yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Every van's got to have somewhere sticker bombed, it's the law. I'm going to re-sticker this actually because they're starting to flake off. But yes, speaker panel. If you're going to put speakers here, you really need to build a box behind as well, because I think these sound absolutely rubbish as they are. They're a bit bassless. So definitely look at building a box for your speakers, and fit in a couple of fire extinguishers just in case. The seats were all pulled out of a donor van. So this is actually a rock and roll bed, so it wants a bit of TLC still, so got bits and pieces to stick down and make look nice again, but it's pretty functional. After a bit of fixing, works well. And of course the buddy seat. So we have 3 kids, so we have to transport 3 kids in the back of here. I've done a quick video on fitting this one if you've not done one before. It's pretty easy. I'll link to that above as well. Front seats ain't the best, they're just complete stock seats, and we put some black covers on which cost about 15 quid. So I am planning on putting the seats from the other van in, which are a bit more sporty and black. I just need to re-weld the frames because at the minute they're not very safe. I don't know who made them. But yeah, I know this is a budget setup though, remember, so it does the job. And the rest of the dash is pretty much stock for now. Curtain rail continues around the front, past the sun visors, so we have curtains all the way around. I recently put the glass in this and painted it with plastic coat. I'll put a link to the spray below because I love that stuff. I've done all the plasticky bits around the van with it, and it's stayed on brilliantly. It covers nice, and it's flexible, so I say it's covered these sun visors really nicely at both sides because they were mouldy as hell and I couldn't get it off, but now they look good. And the back of the van, we kept the side panels as wood because it takes a bit of hammer on the side. You got your back of your bed, which the rock and roll leans down onto, and then we have our storage units. So these are just off the shelf boxes you can get from pretty much anywhere. They tend to link together, so they don't tend to slide off. They've never slid off yet that I know of. And because we're usually cooking for 5 in this van, which is quite a bit of a challenge, we have lots of tools and bits and pieces we keep in them, so it's really convenient to get them in and out and put them in the awning and stuff. We do have more storage where the water tank is going to be going in the back of this section here, but until that's all in place, I want to put some proper shelves in, but that's not quite done yet. But yeah, storage boxes for the win. So here we are, sat in the back of a van in nearly December. It is freezing. So yeah, hopefully this will help if you're doing a similar DIY project in the back of your van. So it's taken us probably about 3 or 4 weekends in bits and pieces to do it together. So yeah, a nice couple's experience. But I say, for us it suits our purpose. It's a nice environment to be in here now. It's practical, everything is usable and easy to access. And it saves us a fortune. I know a lot of people spend a lot of money on interiors, and we just can't do that. So yeah, if you're doing something similar, want to save a few quid, have somewhere nice to be in the back of your van, hopefully you'll find this video useful. Cheers guys, take care, bye bye.